I'm Lily. Today I'm going to read your story, The Seaweed Mom, reading it level 3C. The Seaweed Mom. Okay, let's read it. The Seaweed Mom. My mom gives off the smell of seaweed. The seaweed smells like the sea. Although her scent of cosmetics isn't as strong as that coming from other moms, my mom also puts on some makeup when she goes to work. Why are you putting makeup on? It will be washed off anyway when you dive into the sea. I need to look pretty for the sea god so that he will reward me lots of fresh marine goods. The sea waves will come today, making it a perfect day for my mom to go to work. Every morning, she checks the weather conditions at the sea and sets off to work. She takes a day off on a day with strong wind, a rainstorm, or big waves instead of the holidays marked in red on the calendar. Mom, do you enjoy going to the sea that much? How come you never take a day off? With these circulars, Grandma's eyes narrowed and she leered at me as if she heard something horrible. What are you talking about? Do you think that's a label of love? She has to earn every penny she can to buy you delicious food. Do I eat like a pig? I don't eat that much, I pouted. Big Granny added, besides, your mother must save up all she can in order to take care of our little princess. There was no point of complaining anymore, as Big Granny now joined the fuss. Big Granny is my great-grandmother. There are 4 people in my family, Big Granny, Grandma, Mom, and me. They are all henias, female divers, except me. I was told that the grannies and the mom originally lived on Jeju Island, but they all moved here together when my mom got married. My great-grandfather and grandpa had passed away before I was born. My dad divorced my mom even before I started to walk. I heard that my dad got remarried, but that didn't bother me a bit as I couldn't remember his face at all. However, on days like Children's Day or Christmas, I wished I had a dad. You miss man and the sea only after a few moments of being parted from each other, but it is only the sea that understands the mind of a Henya. Maybe Grandma had missed Grandpa and her dad like I did. Big Granny, who always makes cryptic remarks, explained that was the way of life for the ill-fated Henyas. I must not become a Henya in order to escape from the curse of my family with no man. But the irony is that I am a swimmer representing my school. Unji, your leg kicking is so powerful today. My swimming coach gave me her thumbs up when I got off the pool after the warm-up exercise, but I pretended I didn't hear her. If it hadn't been for her, I wouldn't have been selected as a swimmer. Last summer, I started to learn how to swim for me after school activity. Even though there were other activities, studying was boring and swimming was what I was best at, so I signed up for the swimming club without hesitation. Then, not long after, the coach had called me over discreetly. Unji, have you taken swimming lessons before? Who takes swimming lessons? I just swim, that's all there is to it. I've been watching you swim. Your breathing and the form are spot on. Also, you have the build of a swimmer. Won't you get swimming training? What good is it if I swim well? I will just become a henya. I didn't respond to her question. A few days later, someone was waiting for me. When school finished, she was dressed up in high heels. At once I could tell that it was my mom with her seaweed like hair dancing in the wind. In her hands that smelled of the sea, there was a long paper envelope. Unji, you're really amazing. You swim like a mermaid. You certainly are the daughter of a henya. Mom, why did you come here? Where's your coach? Oh, that must be her. It's such a pleasure to meet you. I'm Unji's mom. Mom recognized the coach at once and greeted her very politely, bowing at the waist. Then she held out the long paper envelope to the coach. And here, oh my gosh, I can't take this, but I appreciate your thoughtfulness. I will get in trouble if I take something like this. The coach stepped back as she refused to take the envelope, but my mom quickly grasped her hand and tightly pulled the envelope in it. It's nothing really. It's well seaweed that I picked and dried myself, and it's 100% natural. Don't eat it sprangly, boil it and enjoy it tender. The least I can do is taking care of the seaweed soup when you have a baby. A gift of seaweed? How old-fashioned! It was my mom, no less. Unji has a talent for swimming. She says she has never learned how to swim. The whole sea is her playground, so she didn't have to. Did you say the whole sea is her playground? Of course. For Unji, the sea is the playground, and for me, it's my workplace. It's not surprising she is used to water because she grew up while watching me dive in the sea. Right, that's why she takes after you and is so good at swimming. Mr. Kim, I would like to train Unji to be a swimmer. And just like that, my biggest secret had been exposed. The secret that I never wanted anyone to know was my mom's job. From that day, I became a swimmer against my will. Mom, who was opening sea urchins after cleaning the dinner table only, asked me questions while moving her hands continuously. My little princess, your swimming competition is the day after tomorrow. Isn't there something special you'd like to eat? Nope. I will go cheer for you with the grannies. It's not that important that you need to come and cheer for me. Don't come. Mom alone would be enough to draw people's attention. If she comes along with the grannies, they would be the center of attention. Besides, there is not a single male in the family, so my friends would find it weird. Mom, what does it mean to have a hard lot? Who said that? Big Granny did. Jizz. She holds nothing back even when she talks to you. I looked it up in the dictionary and it says that it means having an unlucky fate. What does that mean? Kids don't have to know that. She called me a kid even though I'm 12 years old. I couldn't let it go without making a fuss. Is a living without dad unlucky? Mom stopped removing the skin of the sea urchins and looked me in the eye. Her eyes became bloodshot, and it seemed like she would burst into tears at any moment. I immediately changed the subject. Mom, don't you find it difficult to work underwater? Sometimes I do, but there are more times I find it rewarding. Really? Have you not seen me whistle with joy when I came out of the water? You mean the heavy sound of breathing? That's what you breathe out after holding your breath in the water. I know how hard it is to hold your breath. Big Granny said that each time divers go underwater, it's like paying a visit to the world of death. Nevertheless, I get more fresh marine goods whenever I risk my life and go deep underwater. Mothers can do anything for their children, even if it means jumping into fire or the ocean. What if it's still backbreaking? I whip underwater without anyone knowing. Why does nobody know? The sea god knows. I had never seen my mom cry, but there were times I had cried because of her. It was the last autumn. People brushed the seaweed rock every autumn. Big Granny once said that in order for seaweed to grow well, it was necessary to routinely remove the foreign substances from the seaweed rock. The seaweed rock we are in charge of rises high where the current is swift. So the seaweed we collect from the rock makes such a delicious seaweed soup. With good grace, mm, ah, it could be musty though. Okay, with good grace, Grandma and Mom had gone out to brush the seaweed rock. But on their way out, a giant octopus had attacked them. The giant octopuses are known to be so powerful that a person cannot escape from one once it coils its body around. On that day, there were frequent occurrences of rogue waves, and the current were quite strong as well. Although Mom's strength had weakened due to a deadly fight with the giant octopus, she luckily escaped from the danger by the virtue of other hyenas around the rock. I had a heavily sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach when I heard the news. What would become of me if I didn't have Mom? With the thought that something might go wrong, I whimpered all night while firmly holding my mom's hand. She had fallen fast asleep. Nevertheless, Mom went out to brush off the seaweed rock again the next day. Thinking of that day, I could feel my heart pounding again. I shook my head to forget about that accident. Finally, the day of the competition came. I woke up even before anyone could wake me up, maybe because I was so nervous. Yet I lost my temper when I saw the sumptuous breakfast. Don't you know it's a competition day? Who would eat seaweed soup on such a big day? What's up with you? Do you believe in superstitions when you are living in a century where even goblins use smartphones? And you should know that this isn't just an ordinary seaweed soup. Rather, it's real health food that I bought with lots of abalone so that you can keep your steam up. That's right, thanks to the seaweed soup, your mom was able to return to the water soon after giving birth to you. Come on, my princess, try a mouthful of this $1,000,000 seaweed soup. Grandma tried to spoon feed me, but I just screeched at her and dashed out of the house. Whatever, if I don't win a gold medal today, it will be all on you. The stadium was full of people who had come to cheer. Among the crowd, I could see my classmates and my homeroom teacher, and oh my God, next to them were three similar faces that looked alike and stood out. Besides, those three people were holding a big banner reading, Unji, the daughter of Hanyas, the gold medal is yours. I felt so ashamed that I promptly covered my eyes with my swimming goggles. It seemed like all the other people in the seats were staring at them. My classmates would surely recognize that those women were my family. It was certain that the other kids at school would make fun of my family for being a house full of hyenas only. I heartily wanted to hide in a rat hole. At that very moment, there was an announcement announcing my turn. This is Unji, I guess, and Unji, the daughter of Hanyas, the gold medal is yours, with Mom, Granny, and Big Granny. This is the 100-meter freestyle race for elementary school girls. Bang! I instantly dived into the water at the starting signal. It was a good start as I pushed myself forward with strong kicks. Then maybe because I had skipped breakfast, I didn't think I could kick my legs hard enough after I made the first turn. Go, Unji, go! Keep it up! Even though I was in the water, I clearly heard the voices of Mom and the grannies. Shoot! You will never see me win the gold medal. I never wanted to become a hyena, and at this moment, I didn't want to get out of the water. Was it because I wanted to act up? Gradually, my kicks were getting weaker, and I was getting out of breath. I never experienced this until now. It was strange. Even though I had breathed out, the sound of my breath was still trapped inside my mouth. Do you know why the sea tastes salty? The sea is made with the swift sweat and tears of hyenas. One reaps as he or she sweats. I want you to try hard and be a splendid swimmer. Mom's words were ringing in my ears. Am I crying? The swimming pool water tasted salty. I felt like I was floating in the ocean all by myself. It's all because of the seaweed soup. I failed to win a medal, but nobody blamed me. On the contrary, I blamed my mom. I told you not to come. You never listened to me. Do you know how embarrassed I am? Go back home right away with the grannies. When the competition was over, I went to a fancy restaurant following the coach and the group. I heard that Yongchan's parents were treating everyone to celebrate his winning the gold medal. Huge plates were full of delicious dishes such as sliced raw fish, snow crabs, sushi, various kinds of seafood. The seafood salad, they they were totally different from what I usually ate at home. I gulped and my mouth watered. Yongchan beckoned to me to sit next to him. His parents and the coach were sitting at the table together. Yongchan introduced me to his parents. Do you remember that when I mentioned that there is a girl who is the same grade with me among the swimmers? This is her, Eunji. Eunji? What a beautiful name. I don't have a daughter, so when I see a pretty girl like you, I always wish she were my daughter. Sitting with Yongchan's family at the table made me feel like I was one of his family members. It suddenly occurred to me that I wished I had a father at home. How many people are there in your family? Four. Mom, dad, mom, and a younger brother, or maybe an older sister or brother. Upon hearing the question from Youngchan's dad, I had suddenly tingling feeling in my throat as if I had a fish bone caught there, but my coach responded unexpectedly. Linja's mother is a Hanya. Her grandmother and great-grandmother were Hanyas too. Both of them were chief Hanyas, the best of the best. You know they are right. They are really cool, aren't they? Is that right? That's why you're so good at swimming. Youngchan's mom made a fuss of she complete, complimented me. From that moment, everything I ate tasted like sawdust. What's wrong? Doesn't the food suit your palate? Youngchan's dad asked me anxiously as I ate absent-mindedly. Try this one. It's very tasty. Youngchan's dad kindly put a grilled abalone on my plate. Instead of eating, I said bluntly, I don't eat abalone unless they are wild. On the way home, I felt gloomy. Did the heavens notice my feelings? The blue sky turned dark. When I arrived home, Grandma and Big Granny were there, but not Mom. Where's Mom? She went to the water. It looks like it will rain. As soon as she came back from the competition, she told me that the sea was fantastic and she would be back after checking the water for a little while. I left the house and rushed to the sea. I couldn't see anyone in the sea. So I hurriedly ran to the outdoor changing room, and raindrops began to pour. The raindrops and the tears blocked my vision, so I had to wipe them repeatedly. I gasped. When I arrived at the changing room, I still couldn't find Mom. Where on earth is she? Waves of worry swept over me and reminded me of what had happened last fall. I felt like I was choking. Mom, that was not actually because of you. If my mom showed up right now, I would pledge to be the nicest daughter in the world. Just then the door opened and someone came into the changing room. You scare me. What are you doing here? Where have you been? I yelled with the light of seeing Mom. Where could I possibly be? I just been in the water. Mom, who had just come in like the cold wind, was still in her diving suit, and big drops of water were dripping from it. Although there were just the two of us in the changing room, Mom placed her index finger to her lips and shushed me. Then Mom took something out of her diver's suit jacket. Two abalone were shining in her frozen hands. These huge abalone came into the sight while I was working in the water. I hid them under my chest before anyone else noticed them. They were for you, my little princess. I took the abalone out of her hands and flung them to the ground. When did I ever tell you that I wanted to eat them? You don't understand me. Tears filled my eyes, and I almost burst into tears all at once. But my mom just quickly washed the abalone in the water, cut them into large slices, and put them into my mouth. Even this abalone knew how good seaweed was, so they were stuck on our seaweed rock. The seagull favored me, so I was the only one who caught sight of this abalone. I have had so many. I am sick of abalone. You eat them. Although I said no to abalone, I kept snapping at every slice my mom gave, and how weird it was. The abalone slices taste so sweet even though I didn't want to eat them. It was so annoying that the abalone were so good. After slicing the remaining abalone, Mom once again put those slices into my mouth. Did you have dinner? Of course. Look at the time. You couldn't do your best because you skipped breakfast. Maybe I should given you herbal medicine instead of abalone. You should have taken a day off, like today. Why did you go to water again? I grumbled against my will. On the other hand, Mom continued with warm words. Angie, I'm sorry. You're my most precious treasure, so much more than the gold medal and abalone. The sea was upset. The dark clouds turned black, and even a storm watch was issued. While Mom didn't go to the sea for a few days, she began sick in the bed. I helped Grandma cook seaweed soup with the utmost sincerity. Mom, I put abalone in the seaweed soup. Did my little princess really cook it? Cook it? It's too good to eat. I promise to cook for you again. Eat it and get well soon. I returned to class after days of being absent in preparation for the swimming competition. When I got to the classroom, something unexpected was awaiting for me. My classmates swarmed around me like bees before I sat down in my chair. Your mom is a Hanya, isn't she? Surprised by his question, I briefly paused and stared at Yongchan. On the contrary, he raised his hands up in the above his shoulders as if he didn't know anything. maybe, maybe all my classmates had seen my family members on the competition day. 3 generations of your family are Hanyas, aren't they? Who is a faster swimmer? Between Taiwan Park, the Marine Bowl, and your mom. How long can your mom hold her breath underwater? You've got to see with rock, haven't you? Before I had time to answer the barrage of questions from my classmates, our homeroom teacher entered the classroom. Attention, bow! We love you, Miss Kim. I love you guys too. The teacher pleasantly greeted us as usual. Why don't we give a round of applause to Young Eunji and Youngchan? Both of them did a great job at the competition. I didn't know how Youngchan felt at that moment, but I felt a bit ashamed because I had finished the race in 4th place. And I have an announcement. Some of you saw Eunji's mom at the competition, right? Yes! You know, Eunji's mother is one of the last Henias. I believe many of you have questions around her occupation, so I'm thinking about asking her to be a one-day honorary teacher for our upcoming career experience class. All my classmates cheered, and the teacher smiled at me and continued to talk. Actually, I don't have a mother. When I met Eunji's mother, I couldn't help thinking of my mother. I envy you, Eunji, because you have such an excellent mother. Eunji, would it be okay if I ask your mother this favor? I hesitated to answer and then looked around. Everyone in the classroom had their eyes fixed on me. I loudly cleared my throat and replied, well, I should ask my mom first, if she's available. Okay, bye.